Merry meet and welcome to the daily reading for all signs for today, the 9th of August, 2024, or whatever date it happens to be in your time zone when you happen to be watching this. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Moderating today on YouTube are the lovely Deline and the lovely Suzanne. Moderating on Twitch is the lovely Dre. Thank you so much, moderators. And thank you to everybody for joining us today for this daily reading. I am reading with this Taroki 23. And let's purify with this extrait, what is this? Verveine Utopie by Roger and Gallet. 3 sprays is probably way more than sufficient. It's pretty strong, but it smells delicious. I have links to purchase each of these products in the video description of this video on YouTube, should you be so interested. If you're watching us on a restream on YouTube and you don't feel like watching me shuffle, you can just use the timestamps right in the video description to get right to the reading. If you are on YouTube, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you're on Twitch, please make sure you follow us on Twitch. You can watch on Twitch without any ads when you subscribe to us there. Just as a reminder, I don't read with card reversals, so that's why when a card comes out upside down, I just flip it right side up. I don't have any differentiation between reversals and uprights in my reading style. So that's why I do that. So don't worry about it. You can comment, you can email, but it's really just on purpose. All is fine, I promise. If you'd like to give a donation, you can do that by going to paypal.me/ArielGatoga, paypal.me/ArielGatoga. If you're on YouTube, you could use a super sticker, super chat, or super thanks if you feel like giving a donation. We do appreciate your support. Remember that this reading goes out to a lot of people, so if for some reason it doesn't seem like it's applying to you, it may just not be meant for you. In that case, just disregard it. Check out instead the zodiacal readings for your sun sign, rising sign, and or moon sign. You can find the most recent of all the tarot restreams on our website, arielscorner.com. arielscorner.com. Just click on the free online tarot readings link right in that main menu. All right, this is shuffled. We're good. Let's give this a nice clean cut and we'll see what's in the cards for everybody today. Now, that is not a very contrasting color. Sorry about that, but sometimes I'm color coordinated, sometimes I'm not. 10 of Cups. Queen of Swords. Yikes. Page of Cups. Well, this thing likes to show up when things are going well. Looks like some great stuff has been happening for some of you. At least the promise of some great stuff is happening, right? And the 10 of Cups can be either a good outcome of something, or it can be an indicator of a happily ever after. The happily ever after occurs when we stay in the moment. We don't relegate it to the past or the future, start putting it into linear time. So, for instance, if you got a big payoff or something, if somebody paid you a bunch of money, you're like, oh, good, now that's great, I can pay some bills. It's great that happened. Now I just have to make sure and, save that because that happened in the past. The happily ever after would say, I'm staying in the moment. I'm staying in the presence of this energy in the present moment and allowing that flow to continue. And it's not limited to that one event. It's a perpetual thing for me. So that's what she's in here to do. To upset that, that part of the ego mind that is the Queen of Swords is sly. She's very cunning. She'll do it in ways that don't seem like a big deal. Just like, oh, isn't that nice that happened for you? You better save that, which is... all of that's true, but she did it in such a sly way to say, see, look, it's something that happened in the past and it's not part of your present. So then you relegate that to the past and you stop the flow, right? Or she'll go the other direction. She'll say, oh, it's too bad that you're not going to be having that stuff in the future. Wouldn't it be great if that could happen all the time? Sounds real positive the way she says that, but she's reminding you that's not coming back. That's not coming back. Instead of you being in the flow, now your flow is blocked because she took you out of the present moment and got you focused on the past or got you focused on the future. And she knows that your power is in the present moment. And her reason for being, the reason why we all have egos, is because we have accepted a habit of thinking that's self-destructive in nature. And we don't have to accept that ego. That ego doesn't have to have any power over us, but we get lulled to sleep by our own creative thinking, and we sort of do a yes, master, whatever you say, master, to our egos, rather than realizing it's just white noise, it's just chatter in my mind, and I'm not listening. One of the best things to say to your ego when it starts going to you is thank you for sharing. And then that's it. No more interaction with the ego. Thank you for sharing. Because it puts it out. I mean, you're not fighting with it. You're not saying no. You're not engaging in it because that's what it wants you to do. You're just, you're acknowledging that you heard it and then disregarding it. And the only thing that your ego cannot do anything about is it has no power. The only way that it has no power over your thinking is when you disregard it completely, because that's how much power you have. But if you're listening to it and if you're regarding it, then it has power over you, because then it becomes the thoughts that you're thinking in your mind, right? So just understand that her way to try to upset the apple cart right now is to get you thinking about the past, especially about the past. Right now, she's not really focused on the future because where you're headed is pretty good. And so she'd rather undo the past for you so that you could start heading in a new direction, a different direction. But where you're headed based on this is more of the same. Where you're headed is more of the same good fortune that has been at least hinted at, if not actually come your way. So stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Stay present with that energy flow, and recognize that where your future is, what future you happen to be pointed toward and heading toward, is actually even better. And there's a lot of good news in that future. So it's making sense that she wants to say, whoa. Yeah, I know something good happened, but let's focus on it in context of the past. Let's not be present with it. Because if you're present with this, then you're going to get all into this good news, and that'll be horrible for me, because then I won't have a function anymore. That's what that Queen of Swords is doing. So I'm going to open this up and see if there's any more, because sometimes she can get real mean, but most of the time she's not real mean. Most of the time she's real subtle and sly, and that seems to be what she's doing right now. 9 of Coins, 4 of Swords. Oh, King of Swords. So there's the mean guy. So she doesn't have to be mean because he's mean. She didn't have to be mean. So if you start listening to her, and putting things in organizing all of your life into linear time and putting all of your good in the past and not being in the flow of it, then it's time to make a choice in the future to listen to the good news or do something else, she's opting for you to do something else because you're not going to be cognizant of the good news, because you're going to be used to not being in the present moment. I hope I'm making sense. So staying present is going to, I don't like to say annihilate, but dissolve her power over you so that you go right into where you're supposed to be, which, like I said, is very good news. However, if you stay focused on the past and then maybe start worrying about the future, then she'll put you right into the hands of the King of Swords. And what does he do? If things don't... It's the self-fulfilling prophecy. So everything's going great. She likes to upset the apple cart, and then things don't go as great anymore because you start listening to her. And then what do? You start getting mad that things aren't going great, and you start projecting outside of you and start blaming everybody and everything outside of you and never noticing what really happened. You listened to the Queen of Swords, you started placing everything in linear time and pulled yourself out of the flow, and so you missed the target of where you're going. You stop being in the flow. And when the flow stops, whatever this good was stops. And then it does become something that just was an event in the past. And there is no more of it because you decided to take yourself out of the flow. And then you say, the flow's gone. Something happened. I didn't get my good news. Who's to blame? Somebody out there is to blame. And then you start in with the King of Swords where you get all mad and angry and cruel and vicious and upset on whatever level is your personality. Some personalities are more external about how they do that. Some personalities are more internal and they just fume internally about it. Either way, it's the King of Swords. None of this is supposed to happen. This is just that horrible concoction of the ego that we all kind of involve ourselves with. But you don't have to. You don't have to. You can stay very present in the moment. And how does it tell you to do that? The Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is all about disengaging with all of that mental chatter, disengaging with all of that internal conflict. Isn't it true that when something good happens, that's when we get so stressed out? We want things to go well for us, but then when they go well for us, we get all stressed out. That's the Queen of Swords. And it's saying disengage from that. You don't have any reason to be stressed out. Let the good happen. Let all the good happen. It looks like it's even financial good for some of you. Let it happen. Be here, present with it. There's more and there's more and there's more. There's an infinite supply of that. This 10 of Cups is saying this is never ending, but you have to be in the flow of it. Now, the other thing that you have to remember that they will not let you know because they don't want you to know about any of this. None of this ego thinking wants you to know about this. Even if you do pull yourself out of the flow because you bothered to listen to her, even if you do get all upset and get all wacky because you're listening to him, listening to those ego thoughts in your mind, even if everything gets destroyed in the moment and all of your good gets undone, you can still get back in the flow. And it's as if it never happened. That's how powerless your ego is. It makes you think it's really powerful because it seems to be able to unravel things. It seems to be able to cause problems. But that's all an illusion because you always have the opportunity to use your mind to say, wait a minute, I can be right back in the present moment. I can be right back in my happily ever after. I can be right back in the flow where everything good is happening for me, and I don't have to worry about the future. I don't have to think about how it happened in the past. I'm staying in the present moment. She can't live in the present moment. He can't live in the present moment. The ego doesn't exist in the present moment. The ego exists in the past and the future. So if you're staying in the present moment, you're staying in that flow. If you get out of that flow and everything seems to go to hell in a handbasket, you can just get right back in the flow by being in the present moment once again. It's not like this 10 of Cups is going anywhere. It's just that your awareness of it can go somewhere if you don't stay in it, if you don't stay in the flow. But that happily ever after is always the possibility for you. You always have that possibility if you stay in it. But you can't do both. That's the thing. You can't do Queen of Swords and 10 of Cups. They don't coexist in the same moment. So because she doesn't exist in the moment. I hope I'm making sense. So when you start getting stressed out over good things happening, know that that's her and just disregard her, disengage from it and stay in the flow and you're going to be fine. And even if you get out of the flow, you can get right back into it and you're going to be fine again as well. It's very good news, very wonderful things happening for you. When the ego comes up in the presence and in the midst of all good things, it's kind of normal. In fact, sometimes when the ego really gets going, we know, it must be pretty good then. Otherwise, it would have no reason to poke its head out, right? So you're doing very, very well. Stay with it, and you're going to be super happy. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, and thank you to the amazing moderators, Delene, Suzanne, and Dre. And we'll see all of you for another daily reading tomorrow. Blessed be.